Hi everybody, I'm Trin Johnson and welcome to Dust in My Eye. And today, you guessed it, I am making another long video out of one of my shorts because I thought it was kind of cool and kind of fun. But as usual, it's still very short. So come on along and I'll show you what my inspiration for this piece was. I did this painting for my watercolor art class. I don't remember if I did it before class or if I did this one in class, but I thought I would take a couple pieces of it and use it for a short. Now I started out by pre-wetting the leaf. I did that off camera, and I'm just dropping in some lemon yellow with a little new gamboge mixed in. My leaf was fairly wet because I really wanted the colors to blend, and that's a little more new gamboge heavy. And I'm not trying to match what I had done before exactly, I just wanted that feeling. And now I've added a little bit of transparent pyrrole orange into the mix. And it has a little new gamboge mixed into it, pre-mixed into it also, because I didn't want it as intense as it is straight out of the tube. And I'm just trying to get the whole leaf filled while it's still wet, because I want that blending. And this has a little bit more orange in it, and possibly a little deep scarlet. This definitely has a little deep scarlet. I just love the leaves in the fall. We have a tree out front in our front yard that turns a lovely bright orangey red color. Sugar maple. May have been where I got this leaf. I don't remember because this was last fall. And I just want to drop in some of that dark. If you look at the multicolored kind of leaves, often they're very speckly. And I'm really trying to take advantage of the wet in wet. Just a little darker around the edges. I want to make sure I get my little points on the leaves too. And a little bit of spatter. Get that speckly bit. Now I'm dropping in a little burnt sienna with, I think I might have a little neutral tint mixed in there. Really dark brown is what I wanted. And while that's drying, I'm going to move on to the other leaf. Now, I used my artistic license and I drew in the leaf that was in the bottom corner of my painting, only I used the colors that were in the other leaf that was in the other corner because I thought that they were more interesting. And this is some Quin Rust mixed with some Deep Scarlet, and I think I also have a little bit of Quin Magenta in there. And possibly some neutral tint also when I get going on this one. I was really trying to get a deep, slightly berry colored red, orange kind of color. The fun thing about a leaf is you don't really have to worry about getting the edges exactly how you drew them or exactly perfect, because they aren't. And so don't sweat it. Just, you know, as my brother used to say, don't sweat the small stuff. You can just drop it in and make it bigger, and oops, I went out of the line, I'll make it a little bit bigger. You know, it is not a problem. And I was thinking about putting in the stem of the dark leaf, and then I realized I wanted that to be over top of the other one. I thought it would work better that way, so I switched it up and went back into my light color and did the stem of the orange and yellow leaf first. Now I had to wait until the first leaf was dry before I tried to do the veining, or it was just gonna lose all of its integrity and bleed into the other colors. And this part, I did not want that. Well, I did not want perfect little lines either. I did want it not to get mushy and bleed into the background. And again, the whole vein doesn't have to show up, doesn't have to all be the same color. Sometimes it appears lighter than the leaf. I just kind of went with the darker because it was a short and I was trying to do it quickly. So if my brush skipped a little bit, that was fine. I was just trying to see where the veins are by using my other photo as reference. My other painting, I should say. Photo of my painting. And now I'm just doing the same thing with the lower leaf. In the original painting, I had used a little bit of brusho in the background, and I don't want to get that tricky. It would take too long for a short, so I was trying to figure out how I could get a similar effect so they weren't just sitting there on a white page or off-white page. Now I'm doing the other stem because the first stem is dry enough and it won't bleed. It's a little tricky when you're doing this in a short. I can always turn my camera off and come back, but I try to make them like short and sweet. So sometimes I'm doing things on top of wet paint that I really should wait for. So having two subjects to work on allowed me to go from one to the other and have time for the paint to dry. And I was going to do some spattering, but then I realized I did not want it to be like speckles. I wanted it to be a little softer. So I went in with some clear water, clean water, and went around the leaves a little bit so that when I spattered, the spatters would dissolve a little bit and be softer. I was trying to have it look a little bit like the brush-o background, which, if you've ever worked with brush-o, it has a mind of its own. So I didn't want it that crazy, and again, it was a short, so I was trying to keep it short. That was a little new gamboge, I think, and then a little orange, and then I went in with a little lemon yellow. And it just was a little softer than it would have been if I hadn't wet the background. And then I went in with a little bronze colored fine tech, a little shiny, shimmery stuff. You can see it in person. It's kind of hard to see it directly in the video, but it has a little sheen to it. And now I'm just going in with clear water again and trying to soften up some of the speckles. And now I decided that I needed a shadow, like I had in my original painting, to ground the leaves. And I used Bloodstone, Daniel Smith color, and tried to use it very, very lightly and just give some shadows under the leaves, I should say. I didn't want to outline them. Just hitting here and there where the shadows were on my original painting, using that as reference. Not wedded to it, but using it as reference. Now I'm just going to sign my name and take the tape off. So if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified of future videos, hit the cute little bell. And if you'd like to help me out here and buy me a cup of coffee, that's a link in the description below. And please check out my Etsy shop, where I hope to have a shop update soon with all these tiny paintings that I've painted for my shorts. Those will all be originals. So if you're interested in that, keep an eye out. And of course, I have my cute little monsters for sale. So until next time, thanks for watching.